in here. And part of our planning board, there are resident members on the planning board, Basil Hambley, Reg McGuinness, and Shaylin Murray. They're in the basement location for this. We've provided 6 feet or more distance between the participants or attendees. And if you do speak, there are masks, there's sanitizers and Kleenex. So if you wish to clean off the mic before you speak or leave your mask on, please do so. Plus, we have 3 residents, Michelle Knott, Paul Stevenson, and Mark McKenna. They'll be coming to us via WebEx. So WebEx is where you use the big screen. So I'm going to hand it over to Councillor Duffy. He will just lay out some of the ground rules, and then we'll start from there.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's public meeting. Council is pleased that you have joined us, whether in person, on WebEx, or live stream. As the Mayor has outlined, I'm Councillor Duffy, and I'm Chair of the Planning and Heritage Committee. Just before the Mayor starts the formal session, I'd like to go over a few ground rules as noted in the Council's procedural bylaw. After a brief presentation, each applicant developer will be allotted a maximum of 10 minutes to provide their input, after which time members of Council will be allowed to ask questions of clarity. Councils are reminded not to give their opinion on the topics being considered, as they are to remain neutral on until the process is completed. Once Council has finished asking questions of clarity, the public will be given an opportunity to speak, at which time each participant will be provided 5 minutes in which to provide their comments. While a member of the public is speaking, others are asked to show respect and decorum to all participants, maintain quiet and order, refrain from disturbing the proceedings by words, gestures, or actions, including applauding, displaying flags, placards, or similar material. Refrain from talking on electronic mobile devices, and ensure that all electronic devices are silent and operated in such a manner that does not interfere with the meeting or with another person's ability to hear or view the proceedings. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us, as we appreciate your interest and involvement in the city's planning process. Before I hand the meeting over to His Worship, Mayor Brown, I'd just like to add a few other little notes concerning our meeting here tonight that have to do with the COVID, and that is that we have hand sanitizers, wipes, masks, all available in different sections of the room, as you will note. There's a water station to the right of the room, over in that particular area over there. That's our left, your right. Also, because we need to control the numbers, registered participants will be staying at the main room, which is this room here, and all walk-ins will be in the basement, the lower level. Planning board members also attending in person will be down in the lower level. After the presentation, questions will be entertained as follows. Questions from residents in the main meeting would be first. That's this area here. Questions from participants in the basement, if there are any, and I think there's 2 or 3 at least down there, their questions will be entertained second, and the last group would be the people participating via WebEx. So without any further ado, thank you very much, and I'll turn it back over to Mayor Brown. Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Duffy. So following the agenda, I'm going to call to order. Any declarations of conflicts?
No.
Seeing none, we have an approval of the agenda. Councillor Duffy, do you want to move to the approval of that agenda?
Sure. I'll move that.
Moved by Councillor Duffy, seconded by Councillor Rivard. Any problems? We're on an approval? Okay. So Councillor Duffy, number 4, reports. Do you want to read off the report, please?
Sure. Norwood Road, Friar Drive, PID number 416305. A request to amend Appendix A, future land use map of the official plan from low-density residential to mobile home residential. And the second part is to amend the Appendix G of the zoning map of the Zoning and Development Bylaw from the low-density residential single R-2S zone to the manufactured housing residential MHR zone in order to develop a mobile home neighborhood consisting of 59 lots on the vacant property. Worship?
Okay. Do we have a presenter on behalf of the proponent? Mr. Hambley, is it? So, just so you know, Wayne, there is a clock here. We're trying to move the meeting as with some expediency, or we have a 3-hour frame. So 10 minutes is allowed for the presentation, and then 10 minutes is allowed for the response. Believe that's correct, Councillor Duffy? You just press your button.
It's 10 minutes for the presenter and the development officer if he so wishes, and it's 5 minutes each for each participant here tonight if they so wish.
Okay. Do you want to start there, Mr. Hambley?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Just introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm Rob Hambley from PEI Home and RV Center. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you to Mayor Brown and the councillors for hosting our presentation tonight. Hopefully, we'll be able to answer all your questions. I know we've had a lot of phone calls from residents and islanders expressing a lot of interest, and thank you very much to them. And hopefully the people that have concerns were able to answer those questions, and you'll be able to leave here tonight with a little bit more comfort. So what I'm going to do is just run through a slide show that I've put together, and hopefully that will head off a lot of questions or concerns, and we'll just jump right into it. So first of all, who are we? PEI Home and RV Center is a locally family-owned business. We've been around since 1968. We've represented Prestige Homes, which is the manufactured homes that we're looking at providing our customers. Prestige Homes has been involved with PEI Homes since 1973, and so we've been working with them for 47 years. PEI Homes currently employs 24 local islanders, but more significantly, we hire a lot of local sub-trades and other businesses, so we put a lot of people to work on PEI. Who's Prestige Homes? Well, Prestige Homes was a family-owned business in Sussex, New Brunswick, and it started in 1973, the year we joined them. In 1999, it was sold to the Shaw Group of companies, and you guys would be familiar with it. It's Shaw Brick, Clayton Developments, which is a big development group in Halifax, Shaw Resources, Shaw Precast Solutions, Von Ray Products. They've been serving Atlantic Canada for 150 years, so these guys know what they're doing. Prestige manufactures mini homes, modular homes, multi-unit structures. The homes are built in sections or modules. They're built indoors, and then we deliver them to the site and complete them. What's our objective? Well, we'd like to continue with the expansion of Norwood Estates. Back in 1993, we started in there, and with other business ventures, we've kind of moved away from that. We'd like to circle back to it. So we're moving back to Norwood Estates. The subdivision expansion is currently approved to expand as a zoning of R2S, which is semi-detached buildings or duplex, which I don't know if a lot of people realize, but right now the current zoning approves duplex construction. We are asking the city to change the existing zoning to MHR, manufactured housing residential, which would include the single detached, modular homes, or mini home dwellings. This adjustment would allow us to offer a more affordable housing product to our clients. This was the original proposed layout from 1993, and if you look really closely down at the bottom, that's where it was approved. This was the first, I've got my pointer here, this was the first street that we put in, and eventually it was supposed to wind around, come up into a dead end here, and the property north of it was originally looking to be developed as well. It's a different group of people that own that property. But since then, our understanding is the Airport Authority has taken over that land north of us, so there'll be no development on there. We'll see here as we move along, we've made a slight change to this design. This was the original design that we submitted, but we made a slight change because we didn't really like this dead end idea for snow removal safety reasons, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So why not just expand the subdivision that we already had preliminarily approved? Well, what we're finding is today's high housing demand, product shortages, escalating construction costs with new home construction, it's becoming totally out of reach for quite a number of home buyers. Our subdivision expansion would target both new and step-down buyers who are looking for an affordable alternative, whether they are new to the market or planning for a retirement. We get as many phone calls from young families looking for a way to get into their first home as we do people that are looking to step down and try to put some money in the bank for retirement. What will the subdivision look like? Well, the model we're proposing is a shift away from the traditional mini-home community where the client owns their home but leases their lot. What we're looking to do here is the same as any land and home package. You would buy your home and you're going to buy your lot. It's not a rental lot. You own your lot, you own your home. This is what our subdivision layout, this is our proposed subdivision layout. This is a preliminary. Obviously, if we get approval to rezone, we'll have to work with the architects and environment and finalize this, but this is kind of what we're seeing happening. And if you look closely, you'll see we took that dead end that I was showing you a minute ago and made it more of a flow through, which is a little bit nicer traffic pattern there. To provide Islanders, what are the benefits of our proposed zone change? To provide Islanders with a broader selection of housing options beyond the typical apartment or duplex option, while staying at a similar monthly price range. To allow new families to enter the housing market while building equity, and that's a key point. It's nice to see young families building some equity in their own livelihoods and lives. To help contribute to a greater community feel with individual single-family homes, which in some cases is not existent with high-density models. For example, you come home to your apartment and you disappear, and you don't really get to see your neighbors. To introduce more residents to the City of Charlottetown, building on community spirit, contributing to local retail stores, garden centers, services, and contributing to the city's tax base. Norwood Estates subdivision expansion will be constructed with careful consideration to surrounding environment and will follow the province's guidelines of a 15-meter buffer zone bordering the existing watercourse. And you may have seen that on the back wall where I have it posted. This is what the 15-meter buffer is we're talking about. Here's a couple of pictures of the watercourse that people have some concerns over. I just put a couple of quick pictures there. So this is basically, it's a storm water ditch, basically, is what it is. It takes the overflow water from the airport and channels that water down through this ditch, through that culvert, and across the street, and eventually it winds down to Wright's Bridge. We are anticipating minimal surface water runoff due to the relatively gentle topography. However, professional contractors will be expected to pay close attention to stormwater management and follow city and provincial guidelines while the project's underway. This is a quick contour map, and again, I have these posted on the back so you can have a look at it, but if you look really carefully, like we're talking 2-foot drops in elevation, so it's quite a minimal, quite gradual drop, so we're not anticipating a lot of heavy water flow. Here's a couple just quick snapshots of it, so as you can see on the pictures, it's quite gentle and flat, so we're not anticipating a lot of heavy runoff. A couple more quick pictures. The new subdivision expansion will follow a provincially approved streetscape that eliminates the original plan of the dead-end cul-de-sac, which I just mentioned a minute ago. A flowing street design will help with evenly distributed flow of traffic, easy snow removal, and provide for quicker access in the event of emergency. The new expansion would include a collection of sensible covenants that will help ensure the subdivision is kept to a high level of standard while maintaining a nice fit with the surrounding properties. So there's that street flow again that I had mentioned earlier. The playground and soccer property was donated to the city in the original plan and will remain a playground and play area. And it's noted here, parcel A on the original plan. So there's another little quick picture of it. And here are just a few of the housing products we offer. These are kind of more of the more modern style that you're seeing here. So here's just a couple other little prestige advantages. Complete design flexibility and option choice, carefully constructed inside, built to exacting specifications and follow or exceed the National Building Code of Canada, provincial codes, and CSA standards, which a lot of local builders don't have to follow. Prestige Homes is also endorsed by Mike Holmes as a Holmes approved home builder. And that's it. A minute to spare.
Okay. Robert, do you want to add anything or any information, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, as everyone can see in the notice that went out, the concept that was proposed tonight has changed from the original proposal. That was to account for the drainage corridor that runs through the property that the applicant just discussed about. So we have been in contact with the Department of Environment from the province, and they require a 50-meter buffer on each side of the water course. So the entire buffer is about 30 meters, including the width of the drainage course. So that was the one revised plan. I believe the lot count went up to 66 lots.
Yeah, 65. I think we may end up losing a couple still. So, like I say, yeah.
So just please make note of that. The concept has changed, and it was done so after consultation and with the Department of Environment, and then some of the design proposed changes that the applicant conducted. And I can answer any questions in regards to the application or the applicant. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Duffy, you're all right to open it up for questions? Okay, so you have 2 mics. Now, I do have the residents that are coming in by WebEx, but we'll leave them till the end, correct? Yeah. Okay, so if you wish to make a statement or bring up some points of interest, there are 2 mics. Please just introduce yourself from Charlottetown or your address. That would be fine. So we'll leave them open, one over on my left, one over my right, and open for questions to Mr. Hambley and Robert Zilk.
Hi, I'm Diane Taylor Stewart. I'm 15 Friar Drive. I've lived there since 1999. Anyway, since the surrounding area of Norwood has developed immensely with apartments, duplexes, and houses, especially off Norwood and the extensions, I would like to see that we get some sidewalks for safety features for the children. 59 new homes, and most houses have 2 vehicles. And with the streets and most of them coming up Friar and probably exiting out onto Robin, I would like to see something like that happen. A traffic study might be a good thing with the roundabout out there. I know when I used to go to work at the hospital in the morning with all of the traffic coming from the east, quite often we got bottlenecked there. We're sort of, I'm glad if I understood correctly that the soccer field will remain and the playground, because that is a well-loved green space for the children, not just off our just immediate community area, but up on the extension. A lot of families come there. They drive down there with their kids. They play on the soccer field. So it's a much-loved area for everyone. And a green space being developed would be a wonderful thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Hello.
I actually do have a question about the soccer field at Rebecca Lewis, 20 Friar Drive.
Could you just introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, Rebecca Lewis, 20 Friar Drive.
Okay.
So there are actually 2 soccer fields there. There's the one in Robin Hood Park, and then there's the one sort of a little further up that's larger. When we're talking about protecting the soccer field, I assume they mean the small one close to the park and not the other one?
Yeah, I'll just jump to the slide so you can see exactly what we're talking about.
Because one is designated as green space and the other one isn't.
Right.
And I assume the plan is to
That's
develop
right.
that one.
Yeah, so this big triangle that you see right here, that is the playground and play area that is not changing. That belongs to the city. That's not going to change. The property that's to the left of it, heading west, that is going to be developed at some time. I'm not sure when that will be. Right now, our priority is to develop the property north of Friar Drive. So, you know, maybe down the road at some point that will be developed, but that's certainly not on our agenda this evening.
Well, if it's going to be approved, I think that we would like to know what it is, and also I feel like it's a little misleading to say you're going to protect the soccer field when you mean the little one that's already designated green space.
Yes, that area right there will not be changed, obviously, yeah.
My other question was, you talked about sensible covenants to keep the area protected. What would those be?
A couple right off the top of our head. We haven't completely set out all of the covenants yet, but there will be items such as, you know, mini barns or detached garages. That sort of thing would have to match the home, so it looks nicely. You know, we're not going to want residents rebuilding their car in their front yard. You know, that type of thing, that sort of thing. We'd like to make sure that the properties are well kept and that type of thing.
Okay. And my next question is, who will own the new streets that are being paved?
They will be city streets. They're built to city standard, just the same as the streets are in there now.
So what about the bylaw that says that you're not supposed to build a mini home on a city street?
Well, that's the reason we're doing this. We're looking at a bylaw change to this MHR so we can sell the mini home product into this development with own private driveways with city streets.
Would you want a bylaw exemption in your neighborhood?
I'm sorry?
Would you want a bylaw exemption in your neighborhood?
I think if it made sense and the developers provided a good proposal, we would certainly listen to it, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Okay. It's open mic, so please take your opportunity and just state your name, address.
I'm Chris Wells. I live on Scarlett. I'm wondering why you don't have a road coming out to Norwood Road. Why do you have all the traffic coming down Robin or Friar? Why are you not connecting to Norwood?
The reason we have that map drawn the way it was is because that's the design that was originally put forward in 1993, and we basically thought it would be simpler and where people have already seen the original design, that we would stay with the original design from 1993.
Yeah, it'll just cause a lot of traffic coming down, especially Robin, not so much on Scarlett because they're going to come out Friar. So I just wondered why you couldn't connect to Norwood.
I had a note from transportation from the city, and he is telling me that the increased traffic flow out of there from what was originally proposed will be negligible. So they're not anticipating a lot of issues.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Mary Gallant, and I live on Scarlett. And I'm just wondering, with all these here new little things new homes that you're putting here, is this going to make our our property value go down?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, I've got 2 points on that. We actually, when we built River Ridge Estates back in the 90s, we actually did a full study of all the surrounding areas around the mini home parks at that time. Those were the mini homes that were on leased land, and people owned their homes. The study that we provided for that actually showed homes increasing in value, not decreasing, increasing in value, and that was back when the market was slow. Right now, the demand is so high that I think you'd be able to sell your house for just about anything you'd want to ask for it right now. I was speaking with a realtor that I know quite well who just sold a duplex, 700 square feet in Stratford, in an older section of Stratford, was quite old, for $250,000, 740 square feet. So I don't anticipate you'll see a depreciation in your home whatsoever.
Well, I certainly hope not. Like us girls here, we've been in now for 46 years.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of traffic. There's no sidewalks. No sidewalks at all. And it's a lot of traffic. That's what's really getting me, is the traffic.
Well, I think that's something that we'd want to speak with the city and transportation. On the sidewalk issue, I think it would be something besides our development, but I think maybe the surrounding areas, that might be something you'd want to speak with transportation about. Maybe there's
I know,
something
but a
to
lot
talk
of
about.
times they tell you they say one thing. Like, for instance, when our kids all started to school, they had to either walk down to the end of by Norwood Road, and then they moved it up by Friar. So when I phoned the department and asked why the school bus couldn't come up Scarlett, the roadway wasn't paved high enough for the school buses. Well, it wasn't paved since then, but our school bus can go up that street now, so how can that work out?
Yeah, well, that might be the nice thing about this new development we're talking about. That dead-end street on Friar now will be connected, and it'll be a nice...
Well, I think there's
yeah,
going to be an awful lot of traffic going up that road myself. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be horrendous.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we've had comments from transportation, and they're not anticipating a big bottleneck from it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary. And I think that's 2 or 3 times we've heard about sidewalks in that area, so I know the councillor from the area is listening very closely.
Hi, Diane Taylor Stewart again. I'm just wondering, how does this work? If someone buys a lot and they don't want to buy mini home from you, can they just put anything there that they want, or do they have to buy from you?
Yes,
Or is there a stipulation?
we're hoping to develop, and we're wanting to develop the project as a land and home package. We need the sale of the home to help offset the expenses we're going to be into through the development. It's quite expensive to put infrastructure in, water, sewer, paving. We need the sale of the home to help offset those expenses. So it will be sold as a land and home package through us.
Okay, so it's a package.
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
Diane,
yes.
could we just, I'm just trying to get all the first questionnaires. I know
Okay.
can you just hold on your questions, please?
Okay, sure.
I just want to make sure that anyone that wishes to ask questions get the opportunity, and we'll call you back up, okay? Just hold on to your questions.
Hi, Sean Banks, and I do live on Friar Drive. I've been there for about 20 years. So when we moved in, we did know that there was going to be development at some point. Happily, we've been there for 20 years, and there's been no development, large development, but there has been some. I'll echo some of the other comments around the sidewalks. I know that's not your area, but if anybody's listening, that's something we've talked about for years with so many kids on the street, and the corner there, a blind corner, super dangerous. I have a 20-year-old now, so she grew up there, very scared, taking her around to the bus stop. But again, not here. On the soccer field, I did pick up on the soccer field, and like I've noticed over the years, I've used it myself. The small soccer field, I wouldn't call it a soccer field, it's just playground, and it's not really usable for anything except for a playground. The soccer field, when that's gone, there will be a lot lost there. There is people playing soccer, a lot of different events show up there. So I'd be concerned to see that go. And the other thing, with all the green space going, it would be nice to see some other green space put in. I don't know what it could be, but something else to kind of complement that. If you're going to take the soccer field away, for instance, like, I don't know, community gardens or something else just to fill that void if that's going. And I know you said it's not now, and it might not be for however long, but eventually it will disappear by the sound of it.
Yeah. I might ask Wayne just to speak to one of those questions on the soccer field. I know there is a lot to the left, Wayne. Maybe you can explain exactly what's going on with that lot. Wayne was the original developer of this area, so he's more familiar what was promised during that development time. So I'm talking about this lot right here.
Right. Well, the park, the playground that you see there was transferred to in those days, to the Sherwood Parkdale Council to meet the requirement of green space that had to be met. The area that's being used as a soccer field now that you're referring to is part of our developable land, and we've basically just turned a blind eye to the city using it. We don't have any rental agreement with the city or any kind of a loan arrangement with the city. We have just simply, we're not using it ourselves. They can use it, and they're making good use of it. It's not bothering us, and I think most people appreciate having it, but it's not cast in stone for the purpose it's being used for by the city. It is a piece of land that was originally meant to be developed.
It will be a missed asset in the community for...
Yeah, well, right. It may even be the next generation that gets around to that, so we don't really know how long it's going to be. But, I mean, all kinds of things could happen with that piece of land. I mean, the city could approach us to buy it, to keep it as a soccer field. Who knows how and, you know, when it would be used for something different.
And could I ask, Wayne, if you're subdividing, you have to allow 10% of green space or cash in lieu. So would that not be part of the 10%?
Not necessarily. It would have to be. It would have to depend on how the land was best utilized to meet all of the requirements.
Okay. Sean, I didn't get your last name. Sean.
Banks.
Is that answer the question, Sean? I mean, that's all we know right now.
Yeah, I guess I'm not here to change the world, I guess. I'm just here to voice my opinion, so.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing I'll bring up just before my 5 minutes is up, and again, this is not directed at the Hambleys, but more around the current subdivision and what's going in, I guess, and with the sidewalks and stuff. I'm one of those ones that we've seen the filled ditches come up and they just stopped there's like 7 houses at the end of the street and it stopped. I'm not sure why, but I'm assuming when the new subdivision goes in, there won't be ditches. I'm sure that'll all be filled in, so I hope at that time that you hear us. We want sidewalks. There's a few ditches just to fill in. I'm sure that has to go with the parcel of that.
Yeah. So there's some ditches out there that have to be filled in. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
I'm Linda Andrews, and I live at 86 Scarlett. Could you explain again the runoff situation from the airport that's going to run into Wrights Creek? Some of us may have thought that the creek, Wrights Creek, went across Norwood and up that way.
No.
So will there be culverts? Will the building or the development interfere with the flow of water into the creek?
I'll jump back to the slide here, and hopefully we can answer your question here. Oh, we get some support there. Jump back. So basically, while they're bringing our slide up, so what's happening is back, oh my goodness, probably 50 years ago, there was quite a bit of water running from the airport south. And so what they did is they built a storm water ditch, which runs behind, was originally at one time a couple of apartment buildings we had there too, but the ditch runs from the airport. It's quite a bit of higher elevation than where we are. So the reason that storm ditch was put there was to control some of the water running from the airport, so it wasn't just running over all of the property right into Scarlett and Robin. So that ditch flows. I'll just back up and I'll show you here. The ditch flows from the airport. Yeah, there's the culvert right here. You can see right there. So as we back up.
You just passed the one.
Yeah, I just back up. So there's the airport above. So the water flows from here down through this ditch and around here.
Okay.
And then what happens is it travels down the ditch through that culvert. And then where it goes from there is across the street. The culvert runs under the street into this little, you can see the little ditch that runs around here, and that's what dumps into Wrights Creek.
So your development is not going to be anywhere near that
No.
runoff at all? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you back up and have a look at it, you can see there's, certain times of year, obviously the spring, there'll be a lot of runoff. But I was just there the other day and snapped these pictures. As you can see, you can walk through there. There's basically no water movement at all.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks for the question.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay. Hello.
Hi, Natalie Worthen, Norwood Road.
Yes.
I live right across the street from that culvert. And so my question is, I'm happy to see that there's the 15-meter buffer being considered. Will that take care of any flooding? Because there has been flooding there, especially with winters with lots of snow.
Yeah, so the 15-meter buffer does help protect if there is a bit of a backup for properties that are going to be built in and adjacent to that area. The big thing about all of that, though, is I think it's more just in certain times of the year, early in the spring, as you know, you're going to see a lot of runoff. But when we develop the property, we're going to be bringing in a company like SCL. They're environmental engineers. They're going to assist us on the proper layout of the subdivision for stormwater management. We have to provide a water flow report and management report to infrastructure so they can see what's going on there. So yeah, I think it should be pretty safe.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Could I just ask, Ellen asked, because we're doing this publicly, this is a publicly recorded meeting, could you please speak closer to the mic so we can pick up?
Yeah, it's Carson Yunker. I'm on Friar Drive.
Thank you.
Just a simple question. You had mentioned River Ridge there, your other properties, and just as a point of clarification, when you look at these lots, are we talking? Sorry, are we talking about only mobile homes, or are we talking about modular and a combination of the two? And my other question is, what would the minimum size of these lots be? Maybe it's not posted on the wall here. I didn't get a chance to look. So.
Sure. So for the first part of your question, it won't be just mini homes. We want to be able to offer our customers the option of being able to put a mini home there. I've had quite a number of phone calls with expressed interest in the subdivision. I've had a number of people that are interested in putting modular homes in there. I've also had a lot of people interested in putting mini homes in there. So we're hoping to have a nice mix of product in there. The sizes, they're quite generous. I don't know if people are familiar with, let's just see here. I was looking at some of the different subdivisions that are under construction right now. Our size is around 7,500 square feet. Most of them are around 7,500 square feet. That's 0.17 acres. That's a 50-foot wide by 150-foot deep lot, basically. Our largest lot in there is a half an acre. It's 20,860 square feet. So there's some lots in there that are really big, but primarily most of them are going to be around 7,500 square feet. So that's going to give you a pretty nice size building lot to live on, to have swings for the kids or whatever. So we're hoping to have a pretty nice size lot there. There is some subdivisions under construction right now that have exactly the same size lots we're proposing that are building full-size houses on them. So when we're talking about a mini home that's 16 feet wide, 70 or 74 feet deep, that's almost 1,200 square feet, it's still going to give you some nice property space around you. Yeah.
Okay. I think we could. Yeah. Can we just ask if there are any questions from council? Okay, Councillor McKay, Ward 9.
I just want to go back to Sean's point of clarification when you talked about ditch infill and stuff. That would not be required right now from the developer. So unless we change how something in our planning, that might be a generous offer, but it's certainly not something that's required. So I was left a little bit, I don't think you were clear on the response to that, so I just wanted to clarify.
Councillor Twill. It's the second button from the right. Oh. Maybe use the other mic there, it's red. No, Councillor Twill, your time's up.
Okay, there it is. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Rob and Wayne for being here tonight, and the residents that live in the community, bringing your concerns and questions so that we can become as informed as we possibly can. I was really intrigued with the concern about the green space, and as Wayne pointed out, you know, for years they've allowed the community to utilize that green space, and I think he did say he would be open to the city looking at acquiring that green space so that it remains green space for the community. I know firsthand how important it is to have as much green space as possible, so I would certainly be in favor of the city working with Wayne and Rob to acquire that green space and to even cultivate it even further and make sure that portion stays green space if an agreement can be worked out with the developers and the city. I think that would be a very valuable investment, a good investment, a very important investment to the quality of life to the people that live in the community. We cannot have enough green space in our city. So I'd like to go on the record saying I'm strongly in favor of that type of an arrangement.
Thank you, Councillor Twill. Any down the other end? Councillor Bernard?
Thank you. And just on that same topic, I was going to ask Wayne or Rob. So the subdivision that we're looking at, this new section, have you guys given your 10% of land or cash in lieu yet?
I might call on Wayne on that to respond to that one.
Terry, we have to do a little bit of homework with the surveyors just to update the amount of green space that we did give away, back in the original transfer. I can't tell you tonight that we've given enough green space to meet the requirements of the overall subdivision plan, right, meaning the phase 1, phase 2 that we're going into, and the future maybe phase 3. If my memory serves me correctly, I believe the green space requirement has already been met, but I can't commit to that until we have the surveying done and we understand exactly what our responsibility would be. But if we haven't met the green space requirement, then we'll certainly be making arrangements to do that.
Okay. And so you, Wayne, you know that the choice, whether it's cash or land, is up to the city.
I'm sorry?
You know the choice, whether it's 10% in cash or 10% in land, would be the city's decision to make?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. The only other thing was, and maybe I misheard Councillor McCabe, for the development, any stormwater work that has to be done is done by the developer.
Yeah.
Not the city.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we'll work that out with
There will be no ditches in any new subdivision now.
Yeah. That will be worked out when we go to the planning committee. Just turn on your button if you're going to speak. Turn on your button if you...
I think with our new subdivision policies, I think
turn yours off.
I think so.
Yeah, I believe all new subdivisions now, any stormwater work is done by the developer. There is no ditch and filling.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So, Councillor Ver, did you want to ask a question?
Thank you, Your Worship. I guess my question is for the residents. I'll ask Sean just because I know him. So the soccer field, just more little bit of clarity on that. So the city does maintain the soccer field. Is the soccer field used by the soccer association for organized games, or is it just another soccer field for the residents in the area?
It used to be, there used to be regular games there. I haven't seen like regular games probably in the last couple of years, but I do know there's, like this summer that just went by, I'd say 3-4 nights a week there'd be a group of people out playing frisbee or some kind of sports. And I do know like the people in the neighborhood, like kids and dogs play in that park and stuff too. As far as like an organization, I haven't seen anything there recently, but there's lots of unorganized stuff for sure. Yeah.
Councillor Tweel?
Thank you. I should clarify or be a little more clear. What I'm proposing is above and beyond the 10% that's required by the developer, whether it's cash in lieu or the 10% green space. So Wayne, what I'm proposing is hopefully we can work out an arrangement, because what we're talking about here is no different than any other community that has soccer fields and open green space for the community to be able to enjoy. So just for the record, I'm talking above and beyond the 10%, and I believe that we should be able to come up with an arrangement, because to my mind, it'd be a tremendous investment for the next 50 to 75 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tweel. Deputy, you're all right? Good. Could I just ask Deborah if you want to get up and speak again? Yeah, I think I have you down as Diane, sorry. Diane Taylor-Stewart.
Yes. Hi, with regards to the soccer field usage, I live right by the soccer field, and there used to be a lot of soccer games there. There still are kids who come and practice before they have their games. I see kids having races. I see ball games going on. I see picnics. I see dog walking. I've skied there. People come and walk around. And rather than walking on the streets because there's no sidewalks, they walk around the soccer field because it's a safer area. And so that area gets a fair bit of use. I just wanted to let you all know we love that spot.
Thank you, Diane. Rebecca, were you gesturing to go back up to? Okay. Ellen, can we go downstairs and bring them, or are you going to just WebEx them up here, or can they come up? Okay. So we're open to the lower level. And that doesn't prevent anyone asking any more questions here on the floor here. Okay. Can I just let this go? We're going to let this person go first. Okay. Can you see us? We can see you. No, he's mute. Well, there's technology in play right there. Can you try again? These are the new rules of COVID-19, the protocols, so we're adapting. Oh. Maybe it would be easier for them to come upstairs. Just yell up. Yes, okay, we can do that, Councillor McCabe. Chris, do you want to ask your question while we're waiting?
I just want to make a comment. Since we are lobbying for sidewalks here, maybe we could get some playground equipment too.
Yes, thank you. Yes, the councillor from the area is sitting up here on the front table. Yes, and thank you. Thank you very much. Anything else? Okay. Okay. This is Houston calling.
Check 1 2. Test
That's
1
it.
2.
We can hear. Yeah. Just please give your name and where you live. And speak closely to the mic.
As I was just saying there, it's Tim Myers. I'm a homeowner, 106 Norwood. I have a bungalow there, just on the opposite side of the sidewalk. One concern that I was having in the recent years, I've been there for 4 years, there's just not been enough sidewalk use, especially on the very first section, as far as to go towards KFC from Norwood where the guardrails are. Basically, weekly basis, we have trouble going around the corners where people are on the opposite side as the guardrail, which is very tight, which I'd like to see if that could address. Another topic was just the entrance to the upcoming lots being serviced, that there's not really an official entrance. I just want to touch on that. Also, just there's sidewalks on one side where if there was 50 to 60 more cars going by, the sidewalk is right alongside that, which if there was another entrance possible, that would be great. Another side to that was wondering if there's possibility of a ramp going directly to the preliminary highway. I know there is a berm there, but possible, just if that was an idea, put it aside. Also, just as far as the demands of the housing, like I'm with the development. I mean, I know there's nothing we're going to change. The lots are there for use. As far as mini homes go, my thoughts is that I'd like to see something go on where there was bungalows, not mini homes. And I know, like in past, there's been spots like Harley Street where they had a mini home park that was demolished. And that's not to say I'm not against mini homes altogether, but just in the zoning where it is. The other side of that was just to make sure that all the bylaws were the same as the rest of Norwood Road, as far as like outbuildings and like as in the past, mini homes have had a bad rep, and I don't want to see that going into this topic. As far as outbuildings going and old, like say old cars, everything would be the same bylaw as the rest of the city.
Yeah, so I'll respond to your mini home points there. Harley Street Mobile Home Park in the day is a different beast altogether than what we're proposing. You know, what we're looking at going in there is an 1,184 square foot mini home. It's what was back on Harley Street was a 12 by 40 mobile home. Mm-hmm. This is not the same product at all. We are fully expecting that there will likely be a mix of modular homes and mini homes in there. But as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, it's just a modular home, which is in the same price category as a new site-built home, stick-built home. In just a lot of cases, it's just not reachable for a lot of young families and people that are wanting to retire. So I think PEI needs some other alternative options for people so they can live affordably. It's what we're offering is giving people an opportunity to have their own land and their own home. Apartment living is awesome. My mom lives in an apartment and she really likes it. But not everybody wants to live in an apartment. Some people want to have their own land and their own property, and so that's what we're hoping to develop.
No, that's all I have to say. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Tim. Anyone else down there in the lower level that wish to ask a question?
Your Worship, there's no further speakers downstairs at the moment.
Okay. So, did you want to continue with you answered your question, Chris? Anyone else, please use the mic. It's there for your use. Ellen, it's just the two levels, right? This level and down in the basement? Okay. Okay. Do you want to go, Sean?
Yep, thank you. Just a question on the mini homes and stuff again, and this is more curiosity. Do you have an idea of what the price range is going to be for them? Like, what's kind of the lower level, and then these big lots with a bigger home on it? Like,
That's a real tough question to answer tonight because we don't have our costing in for our road development and infrastructure yet. So I'm not able to give you a package price. What I can tell you though is we're trying to target that, you know, $1,200, $1,500 a month payment. That's kind of what we're trying to, it's kind of a sweet spot we're hoping to hit for customers. We're trying to get people into their own home for roughly what to be paying for half a duplex or for a nice apartment. So that's kind of the target price we're trying to hit. I'm expecting you're going to see that $1,000 to $1,500 rent rate with the cost of construction today. That's probably going to creep too as we move along. So like I say, we're trying to get in that $1,000, $1,500 a month payment is what we're trying to hit. Yeah.
and just another question I was on, and I might be playing dumb to this because I don't know, but you were talking about in the beginning about the bylaws, like detached, like what somebody could put on a lot and what they couldn't put on a lot. Does that have any impact on the current homeowners?
No, what you're asking about is the covenants that we might put into place in our subdivision. We're just, the covenants that we're going to put into place is more aimed at just trying to keep the subdivision at a high level of standard, to try to keep it looking really nice. So that's the reason we're putting the covenants in place. As far as patio decks, mini barns, detached garages, they're going to have to go through the same process as you would if you were going to build it through a permit with the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Oh, Councillor Rivard.
Great, thank you, Your Worship. Just another question here. I know in the East Royalty area that that it's not quite as, when we did the planning document for that, I think McLaughlin Heights, or I forget what it's called, Montgomery Heights. Anyways, we did it in a way where, you know, it's a mix of duplexes and, you know, just the density change. So I guess my question for this place here is, will people know when they put a modular home on one of the lots, will they know what's going next to that? For instance, if I bought a modular home, put it there, would I know that a trailer module or a mini home would go next to me? Or is it just...
I think if you're going to be buying a modular home in that subdivision, knowing that it's zoned MHR, manufactured housing residential, you're going to know that that subdivision is open to mini homes, modular homes, or even a site-built home in there. So no, we're not going to designate this lot can only be a mini home, this lot can only be a modular home. If you come in and you want to buy a modular home, we'll put a modular home for you. If Mitch comes in and wants to put a mini home next door to you, we'll sell Mitch a mini home. So that's kind of where we are on it. But whether it's a modular home or a mini home, we want the subdivision to be well kept, you know, nicely presented. So it's going to be a nice looking subdivision. Yeah.
Your Worship, just to follow up. So again, talk about Montgomery Heights. You know, they have the duplexes already identified on the master plan, where, you know, if you're looking to buy the lot that's next and build a single attached, you know what's next to you. So when you buy that, it's just, in this case here, this is, you know, if you get in, you buy a modular home, you set it up, you have no idea what's going next to you, and that's...
Well, again, like I
could
say,
be unnerving to the residents.
I don't think we want to pigeonhole lots and people onto certain lots with the homes. I think we want to give people the option of choosing the lot and choosing the product that fits their budget, and you know, if they want to live on a corner lot, or if they want to live, no, you can only have a modular. No, we want to be able to open that to people so everybody has a fair option and a fair choice. Yeah.
Thanks, Rob. Okay. Rebecca, do you want to ask? That's all right. We know your name, Rebecca, so you don't have to say it. Just get close to the mic so we can hear.
Okay, so my question is about, like, if this plan doesn't get approved, I had already seen that you had said to CBC that you would develop with the original plan, so it will be developed regardless, just with what it's currently zoned as, correct?
Possibly. Right now, like I said earlier on, the cost of construction is so high, we're just worried that to develop that property as is, it's going to be a long old slug. So I think we would be much happier to be able to offer Islanders the option of a home that would be more affordable to them. So, yeah, our first choice obviously would be to move forward with this zoning request. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I feel like that's not really a clear answer. Is that a yes or a no?
The answer is I'm not sure what we will do if it doesn't get zoned. Again, we would have to look at a market study that would show us whether the area was affordable for modular construction. I'm just not sure that, if we did a modular home in there, or a site-built home for that matter, we're back into that, $400,000 plus price tag, which is just not affordable to a lot of families.
That's a different position than you had taken previously, so what's changed?
I don't understand your question.
So in the CBC article, which is when I first learned about this, you had said that regardless you were going to develop the land, and now you're saying that's not necessarily
Yeah, it will
true.
be developed eventually. I think with the timing, with the demand and housing right now, I think that it's again, just the cost of construction is so high, it would be something we would have to look at very carefully, yeah.
Okay, I also just wanted to add that I thank Councillor Tweel for saying that he's strongly in support of buying the soccer field that we're also fond of and that we really want to protect, and that I know that cash in lieu can be an option instead of green space, but I think that would make us all very sad, and I don't really know why that would be an option on the table.
And Rebecca, that goes back to our planning department, and planning department will make a recommendation to the planning committee and standing committee on planning and development, and then we'll move forward. Correct? Am I correct in saying that, Councillor Duffy? So there is a process.
Yeah. I'm just glad to hear that that's an option on the table that could be considered, and I hope that everyone comes to the table understanding that that would be what's best for the community, both the people that are there currently and the people that will be moving in.
Yes, and I think the Hambleys are listening very closely to you.
I hope so.
Thank you.
I have another question, and pardon my ignorance, but after tonight, who, based on all of our questions, who will be making the decision as to whether the application to change the zoning, who makes those decisions? Who makes the decision to change the zone?
All the information tonight, Linda, will go to a planning board next Monday, February the 1st. From there, from the planning board meeting, a recommendation will be forwarded to City Council for the public meeting of council on February the 8th, 1 week later, and council will make the decision on February the 8th.
So I'm wondering, are any of our concerns going to have a bearing on the decision that will be arrived at?
Oh, definitely. That's why we're here tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering how it's going to go from here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is an important part of the whole process.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Duffy. Okay. Yeah, just one. Councillor Tweel, is it just a comment?
Yes. I neglected to mention when I talked earlier about the city acquiring that green space, working out an arrangement with Wayne and Rob, that's above and beyond the 10% requirement. Okay? The other thing I'm sorry I didn't bring up when I was bringing up my assessment earlier, Rob, is there a possibility, if you look at all the new subdivisions that are created throughout the city over the last number of years, I've always tried to strongly recommend a trail development. Like rails to trails, the equivalent of the rails to trails. And is there a possibility to add that feature too? And then there would be connectivity to other trails, to other subdivisions. Is that a possibility, Rob?
I agree, Mitch. I think that's a great idea. I live in Stratford, and the Stratford Trail is an excellent trail. We use it all the time. I'm just wondering, and that would be something that we would certainly look into on the development when we get down to brass tacks on the final development of the property. But I'm just thinking off the cuff here tonight, that 15-meter buffer zone along that stream area there, the stormwater, maybe that's an area that could be used to connect. Where it's unused space, it might be a nice area to
I just wanted to bring that up, Rob.
Thanks, Councillor Tweel. Again, some of these issues will go back to the Plan and Development Committee, the Standing Committee. Also, Councillor Bernard, who chairs Parks, Recreation, Leisure, that will be part of the discussion too. So there are steps that we have to address in this process. I have to ask, there are 3 participants via WebEx. Michelle Knott. Ellen, do you have her coming in on us? Okay. So Michelle Knott, if she...
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you just...
Okay.
Okay, do you want to go with your question, Michelle?
Sure. Just wanted to start with saying I agree with preserving the green space and including sidewalks in our area. My first question is, what was the original plan with respect to the number of per-family homes, including the duplexes?
Rob?
Yeah, so our original plan there, I think, was around 59 lots as well. But like I say, the current zoning is semi-detached and duplex. So with the duplex, you know, you're putting 2 families per lot. So what we're moving towards would eliminate the duplex option, more just single family on each lot.
So this would be a de-densified version of what was originally intended?
Yeah, if we developed it as it was originally intended to be developed and you filled it with duplexes, you would have a much higher density than what we're presenting.
Excellent. Was any formal traffic assessment completed with this new plan across Scarlett, Robin, and Norwood?
I expect when we get down to the final plans, there will be a traffic study done. Like I say, our main plan tonight was to approach the rezoning piece. Once we get the green light on that, then our next step would be to bring in the professionals in that area and go from there. The only thing I can say is that, like I say, I had an email from I was copied on an email from somebody in transportation from the city, and they didn't anticipate any major problems with traffic flow.
Okay. When you stated in the plan that you will be including new prestige mini homes, do you mean that all houses, whether single detached, modular, or mini, will be prestige manufactured?
I'm finding it kind of hard to hear you.
Can you repeat that, Michelle?
Sure. Will all the homes in the new subdivision, regardless of single detached, modular, or mini, be prestige manufactured homes?
That's correct. As I mentioned earlier, the costs associated to developing a new piece of land is pretty significant, and in order for us to recover some of those costs of developing the subdivision, we have to sell the product. So it will be prestige mini or modular home going in there.
Okay. And you, just to confirm, you will not be building and selling the lot with the house on it. You're only going to sell the lot and then build the house?
Our intentions are to sell it as a land and home package. So you come in and you would meet with us, we'd help you design your home, and you'd pick your lot and we would put the package together.
Okay. Just one more question. Is there a predetermined ratio of single detached, modular, or mini homes? And is there any effect on the 56 lot number if the ratio changes?
Again, I'm really sorry. I find it really hard to hear you. Could you repeat that again?
Sorry, I know I can hear that I'm echoing. Yeah. Is there a predetermined ratio of single detached, modular, or mini homes? And is there any effect on the 56 lot division or ratio if that changes based on people's preference?
We don't have any specific ratios laid out. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I think what we're going to want to do is meet with clients and families and provide them with a home that they're comfortable living in. So if we find that it's heavier leaning towards mini home because that's what people can afford, then that's what we'd like to do. If we find that more people are leaning towards the modular construction, then that's what we'll do too. So no, we don't have any specific ratio of that there's going to be X number of mini homes, X number of modulars, or that sort of thing. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Paul Stevenson, is Paul there, Ellen? Or did he web out?
No, I'm here.
Okay, Paul's here.
Yeah.
Paul, do you want to go ahead with your question?
Yes. Good evening. I just want to, first of all, thank the council for the information about this through the public meeting. I was interested in seeing the plans for the development by Hambley's. I think it's worthwhile for the city to consider using existing land rather than expanding and further consuming more agricultural land. So that seeing that the plan has answered a number of questions with respect to the use of the current area there. I think the biggest concerns that I had, and I think that's been expressed by others, is with respect to residents in the area and the traffic flow. One of the things I asked for the city is information with respect to the current resident population in all of the regions that are bounded by Oak, Norwood, McRae, and circumscribed over by East Worley Road. And the city said that the office doesn't maintain a population count, that their work doesn't involve that. And I thought, that's kind of strange. How do you determine what's the population for the area and for the common roadway use? I took upon myself, and I did sort of a current tally of the number of residents in the area. And so what you find in the area of Friar and Scarlett and Robin, you've got about 58 residents. Then you've got on the other side, in the area of Scarlett and Herbert and Love, you've got about 74 residents that come in onto Norwood. And then Norwood, from that point on up, you've got about 185 residents. So currently you've got a neighborhood of about 315 housing units all coming down to one single access point there by that turn where Oak and Norwood join. So basically you have a 315 residents cul-de-sac, especially when Norwood is shut off at the other end in winter. Now this has been a different winter as far as that goes, but a lot of times you have no access out on that other end, and all traffic has to come down through, and at that point where Norwood and Oak come together becomes kind of a choke point. I think that the city has to look at the development of alternate traffic flow patterns in order to allow further development of regions off of Norwood. I have no objection to the matter of the housing development itself, but I think that it has to be looked at in conjunction with the city's long-term plan for the area. So one of the things I did ask, what is the city's long-term plan for it? And, it's interesting when you start looking at that. I think it's about a 250-page plan that the city has with a number of areas just specifically for East Royalty. And you start looking at that, and one of the things at the very end of that, page 250 of that, shows a map with collector roads that coming down from the top part of Norwood and come down across and connect onto the circumferential highway. And that seems to come down through that region that of the development that's being proposed by Hambley's, and actually overlies some of the area that is indicated in that plan. So the question is the city looking at continuing with that plan, which was put forth in 2015, or are they looking at altering that as well?
That's a question to us, right, Paul?
It is.
Yeah. So
because I don't think that you can look at further development, because at the same time you've got other property that has been put for sale off of Norwood.
Yeah.
That without any type of consideration for traffic flow and development within the master plan, it just cannot continue to develop piecemeal by piecemeal without looking at the matter of sidewalks, trails, access, and traffic flow overall.
Yeah. So, Paul, what we'll do is that 215 study, I think that was conducted by CBCL, correct?
I think so. It's at the very end of the master plan.
Okay. So that'll be part of the discussion, not just for this development, but other developments in the east, west, north of the city, and the south is most of your downtown. A good point to be made. Thank you. Okay. So we have Mark McKenna. Is he available, Ellen? Oh, you're going to read his question?
He couldn't connect through the audio, so I'll just ask the question. He sent a message. So there's two questions. When is the earliest construction scheduled to begin? And the second is, if there was a particular reason why land in question was not included in the original multifamily designation in the 1970s.
Did you get those two questions, Rob?
Yeah, well, I'll answer the first question. I might call on Wayne for the second question. The first question is, if we have approval with the rezoning, then we will immediately call for a request for quotes. If that all goes according to plan, I would like to see something start as early as this summer or fall at the latest. Maybe just repeat that second question one more time, if you don't mind.
Wayne, do you want to answer it, please?
Is there a particular reason why the land in question was not included in the original multifamily designation of the 1970s?
The first development, the first phase of the development was the piece on Friar that is in existence now. And we did have two other phases on the plan at that time. The second phase, very similar to what we're seeing today. And then the third phase was going to be where the soccer field, to use that term, is now located. The reason that we did the first phase, and then our company got sidetracked on other developments that had a higher level of priority for us than this particular development at the time. And now that those other projects have been completed and we're looking for areas of opportunity to continue developing, then this is now back on the drawing board.
Okay. That's it. Thanks, Ellen. So this is the last opportunity for any more questions from the floor. And you could also extend that invitation down to the lower level. Ellen, is there anyone downstairs? Okay. You go right ahead, Sean.
Just one more time.
It's open mic for you, old buddy.
Yeah. So just back on the soccer field, and I appreciate, as Rebecca said, that you've put that forward. I think this is a great opportunity for the city to not only save the soccer field and the green space, but to even do something more with it.
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity for, if we're going to move in 59 families, why don't we put in community gardens for everybody to be self-sufficient in the summer and the fall. I think there's opportunities to not just put a soccer field in, but to keep the soccer field and expand upon it, new playground equipment, and really show what we can do with, if the new families are coming, come to this neighborhood, look what we got.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the beauty of these public consultations, because it allows residents to come out and give ideas and to reiterate that what they said during the election, that can we get this done, can we get that done. It's being well taken noted.
The sidewalks, I'll stress that again, the sidewalks. I know it's not theirs, but
No.
the sidewalks I really think need to go in. My child's gone, but I see lots of kids walking at night during the day to school. I think they really need to look at that, especially with all the new families coming. So it's a little late, but it's better late than never. Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. Yeah. Rob, Councillor McCabe, and I know some of the other councillors would appreciate, could we get a copy of the presentation?
Absolutely, yeah. As a matter of fact, I emailed it to Robert Zilk, so so he
So
has it.
we can put that up, I think, Alex, we can put that up on our website. So if anyone wishes to go to the website, to charlottetown.ca, go to Planning and Development, correct? And we'll put it up there too.
Okay, sure.
Okay, that being said, I have to ask, any new business? Motion to adjourn. Motion moved by Councillor Bernard, seconded by Councillor Ramsey. All those in favor? Yay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Cold, isn't it?